everyone. Once again, this is Joe from Joyful Noise Productions here. This time with another breakdown video, but something to be special about this breakdown video. So before we go any further, please do me a favor. Like this video, share it to all your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, don't forget the notifications button so that way you know when the next video will drop. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Obviously, this is the year where a lot of guys, they're going to be talking about free plugins. Well, guess what? I decided I'm going to throw my hat into this, and I do use a lot of free plugins, you know, just for the record. But I also do buy my own plugins as well. Recently, I got my own. I bought some Black Friday specials off of Waves, and I was able to kind of get a couple plugins that I felt were interesting. So you can't beat it, you know. You buy 3 plugins, get one for free. So, well, let's just say I only paid no more than. I actually get 3 plugins, and you only pay $49 for them. So, hey, can't go wrong. I mean, again, we're musicians, we're cheap, right? But anyways, today we're gonna do an all free plugin. Now, there were some plugins I've had, but then there were some plugins I kind of had to look for, where I felt were okay, but then there was some that I was kind of a little alright. But at the end of the day, they're all doable. You could be able to still get a pretty good mix out of them. And plus, you kind of have to learn how to work them a certain way. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into the DAW, and let's go ahead and let's see what plugins we're working with. As you look here in my DAW, I got all these plugins right here. Okay. Now, one thing about a lot of these plugins, I want to go ahead and I'm going to put links to these plugins, because because if you want to look for them, or you want to find them, we could always find them here. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna start with this very first one. This one right here, everybody knows about this one here. This one is called the MT Power Drum Kit 2 by Manda Audio. To me, this is the best drum kit that's out there. That's free. It has a pretty good sound to it, in my own opinion. So, you know, you got your snare, you got your toms. Okay, you also got your hi-hat, you got your crashes, you got your ride. See, so now in case you got a dual zone drum kit, you can be able to do that. Now also right here you got your crash. Now obviously some people would say, well, where's the splash and all this? Well, the splash is in there. You just gotta find it. So now one thing is, you go right here. We go right here into settings. It'll tell you where everything is at. So as you see right here, splash is in here. It's not on the It's not on the GUI or the GUI, but it is there. Now also it'll tell you where each of these are located. So remember, if you have a drum kit, you gotta, and if you're able to change around the MIDI notes, if you look right here in this area right here, right where all the numbers are at, that will tell you where to assign each of these triggers at. Now you go right here, as you can see, you got a little bit of certain things right here. Now we're going to kind of click into this. As you can see, we're going to go into English. You know, let's just say you want to go with an Alesis. Let's just say you want to go with an Alesis, or actually, let's click on the Roland, because Roland is commonly known for that. So, so if you go with the presets, this will, you know, you can get a screenshot of how you can be able to set it up. Okay. Now, what I normally do in this respect is I use what they call I use what they call a MIDI mapper, and a MIDI remapper, and I use that for all my drums, so that way everything could be nailed all together, so that way there'd be no confusion. So you can so whatever MIDI notes come out of one, it could be able to translate it into the other. So as you see right here, you got your drum kit right here. Now this thing can play on one channel, that's not a problem. The only drawback I have with it is that when it comes to just using just a plug-in on one channel, it, you know, even though you can equalize it, but it really doesn't give you the power that you need, because everything's being all rolled into one, and you can still be able to work it out somehow, but it comes out, me personally, comes out a little thin. Now, but if you look right over here, now if you got Reaper, you can be able to bust it out a little bit. So as you can see, it has assigned outputs, so there's no effects going into this. So you can be able to put your own effects into this. So you can see right here, you got your kick, snare, hi-hat, tom 1, 2, and 3, and you got your overheads. If you look right over here where it says 7 out 7 out 7 out 7, actually that's out 8. So that would tell you where each of these coordinates go. So if we go back to the drum kit, you're gonna look right here. See, so the kick goes directly into here. Then you got your snare. So you see right here, there's your snare right there. And obviously, when it comes to the overheads, I basically just use the cymbals. Now, there, like, as you see right here, the CHANNEV, that's a channel strip we'll be kind of diving into a little bit later, but we're going to kind of go into the instruments first. So we're going to go to the vocal parts. So if you go to the vocal parts right here, as you can see, you got what they call the Vocal Menace by Liepe. Now, Liepe is obviously he's a very well-known YouTube vocal coach. He decided to come up with his own things, with his own plugin, which is cool. I mean, it all works out and stuff like that. We're gonna put, for this one, for the vocal one, we're gonna call it same vocal, so I won't lose it as I demonstrate it. It's a real powerful unit. I've been using it quite a lot lately, so I'm gonna kind of demonstrate a little bit of how it works. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna knock off the soloing. Now, some people say don't solo, but the thing is, when you kind of got everything equalized and ready to go, and you just use your buses, basically you're just kind of just squashing everything into a channel mix. So let's go right here to vocal number 1. So, let's go. Okay, so I want you to hear how it sounds.
Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. A virgin shall conceive.
So let's go ahead, let's go to the default presets.
And his name shall be called.
Let's kind of go ahead and let's see, go right here. Okay. Let's loop it right about there. Okay. So one thing that's cool about this, it kind of brings out your vocal.
A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son.
Now, you see it's dry, so it sounds pretty good. Now, right here, this adds presence and air post to the compression. In other words, it kind of gives you
a virgin shall conceive.
It kind of gives you a little bit of some air, and kind of lets your vocals ride a little bit. So when you come up with it, a virgin shall
conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called.
So as you hear it,
virgin shall conceive,
it kind of fattens up a little bit. This one's really what's going to fatten it.
And his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son.
So as you hear this,
and his name shall be
this
called.
adds some fatness to it.
A virgin shall conceive
right here,
and bear a son.
What this one does, it kind of changes. It's kind of like a graphic equalizer.
A virgin shall conceive
it actually
and bear a son.
Shave off some of the low end and stuff like that, which is
a virgin shall conceive
cut, but it can also go to lo-fi or go into full what they call telephone
mode. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive.
So as you can hear right there,
and bear a son, and his name shall be called.
now right here on this side right here, this is your reverbs and delays.
And his name shall be called.
But if you want to add
some,
some,
shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called.
So as you hear, it kind of increases the volume a bit, but gives it a little more fat.
And bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called.
So
a virgin shall conceive.
It does make some sort of effect, but let's go ahead. Let's bring some of the reverb.
His name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son.
So now you hear the reverb coming out.
His name shall be
now
called.
watch this as I push this one up. This one is actually like your
and
volume.
Bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall
so
conceive.
So you see, it also pulls up the
and
delay.
Bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son.
Now, this one will kind of tighten up the.
A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called.
So now I kind of got into a point where it still has some reverb, but it's still carry.
And his name shall be called.
As you can see, this vocal
virgin shall conceive and bear
a
son.
This is an actual vocal
and his
chain,
name
which
shall
is really
be called.
Cool in the way it works.
A virgin shall conceive
now,
and bear a son, and his name shall be called. A
this
virgin
is really
shall
cool when you work with it. It kind of
bear
gives you what you want.
And his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son,
let's go right here.
And his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called.
So let's go ahead and just kind of put them all together.
And bear a son, and his name shall be called. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son.
So as you can hear,
the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold! A virgin shall conceive.
So the one thing that's good about this whole about the vocal Menace, again, it's a free plugin. He just threw it out there, and it kind of makes everything go together and sound very strong and fat. And that's one thing you're kind of looking for when you're putting a vocal chain together. So now let's go to my favorite area. Okay, and that is the guitars. So first of all, let's start with this guy right here. Okay, this guy obviously, I don't know how long he's gonna stay free, but he obviously it's the Bogren Digital Mark L Custom. So when the reason I kind of got this in stereo, so I kind of have to put these two together so you kind of get a full sound of what it is. Now at the time I was using an 8-string for this to kind of get that, because I hadn't used my 8-string in a long time, which I really don't have anymore. So let me go ahead and loop this up. Since I really don't have it no more, let's go right over here. And you probably get into here, it's going to sound something like this. Now the one thing about this type of amp is the Mark L Custom is a Polish amp. So but it's supposed to be based off the design of a Marshall, but it has this percussive sound. So it kind of sounds like you're kind of like scratching on metal or something like that. So as you probably hear it has that sound to it. Now, one thing that's cool about these types of plugins, you can choose the different types of cabinets. You can go to the modern cabinet, or you go to the vintage cabinet, which will kind of split it up. Or you can load your own IRs in there. So let's just say I want to kind of go with my own IRs at this point. Okay. So I can kind of get I can choose any type of IR I want on this thing, and be able to change the sound and however I want. So you can be able to go there, or you can go with a no IR. You know, so maybe maybe kind of funneling it through something else, which kind of has that cabinet sound to it. So now right here, this is your pedal that kind of gives it a little bit of that drive. Now the cool thing about this one, but a lot of the Bowman digital one knobbers, is that the amps already been set up where you have a pedal. Obviously, right here, this is your overdrive, and all you do right here is just turn up the gain. So as you hear, it kind of went up a bit. Okay, there we go. So the more I turn it up, the more gain I get. Like so again, but the Mark Custom already kind of has that sound to it. Where it sounds, I shouldn't say it sounds thin, but it sounds percussive, where it kind of like, you know, it has that type of sound to it. So that's a, you know, like I said, I don't know if Booker still has it. I mean, I could have used a lot of other plugins I got. I know I'm probably gonna end up doing more of these type of plug-in things, especially for guitar, because I do got a lot of free ones that did come around. So let's go with this one. Now this right here is called the Mini Fenrir by Solemn Tones. Now a couple of years ago, Fenrir came out with Solemn Tones came out with their big Fenrir. So let's just kind of go here and get a good look at it. The Run Forge. So as you can see, it's a full-blown suite. Now the one thing that kind of bothered me about this particular one is that if you read it, it already has. If you read about it, it already has it has the distortion drive built right in. Basically, they say, well, because the tone, because one thing about the tone of using a boost is that it changes the low end. And what would some of us say? Duh. That's why some of us use different types of boost pedals. You know, like recently I've been getting away from my my vintage tube overdrive by Behringer, and I've been going with the distortion overdrive by Behringer, and that thing kind of has a little bit more of a different sound to it. It'll tighten up the bass and stuff, but it kind of gives it more of a more scoop sound a little bit, so you can be able to scoop it more better. But either way, but as you probably hear, this is the Mini Fenrir. It sounds pretty good. Just kind of lets you hear it. So it has a decent sound to it. I mean, it already has its input, has its output. It already have a gauge, so you know, basically it's just a plug-in and play. Almost like the amp knob, and it has a real good. Like I said, here it has a good tone out of it. However way they have it set up, pretty good. But let's go ahead and put them both together. So when you put them both together, and one thing about the Fenrir Mini inputs, I'm using the 6-string. Okay, so that's why it kind of has a little bit of that galloping, but yet it kind of sounds like it has a little bit of that crazy sound to it. Okay, which is pretty good. Now one thing I got right here, I found this one right here. It's called actually not that one. Oops, got a little ahead of myself there. Now, obviously for MIDI bass, as you see, I got this Project 16 picked bass. Now, supposedly this is supposed to be modeled after the Rickenbacker 4010. So, oops. Here we go. let me kind of like knock this out real quick. So we kind of hear the plain sound to it. So as you can hear it, it has it, you know. Also, you can go low if you need to, but it only goes no further than low C. But as you can hear, you can go low with this thing. You know, it has that pick sound. Now you got your attack, your decay. So in other words, you can be able to kind of fine tune the playing aspect of it. So when you play, it's going to sound something like this. So let's just say we want to kind of put a little more meat into it. So okay, so you want to kind of get a little more legato-like. Get this release here. You can turn it up louder if you want. You also can be able to pan it left and right. So as you can to see, if you're dealing with MIDI, you're gonna have all these at your disposal. Now also what this is feeding into is also is the free bass amp. You see right here, this is called your bass grinder audio. It's by Audio Salt, but this was a free version. Now one thing it has two types of bass amps. You got a Dragon bass and you got a Razor bass. But you also got three cabinets. You got a Dragon cab, a Razor cab, and a Shark cab. So so if you really want to use this, like even for regular bass, you can be able to use it. So as you see, it has a good, nice distortion, good feel to it. Also, right here, this kind of adds to it as well. So if I bring it back down, it's going to fatten it up a bit. Okay. If you want to go full blown, you go right there. You got your bass, your mid, your treble. So if you want to hear the different types of cabinets, this is how it would sound like. So you can kind of get the different tones. So as you can hear, there's a subtle change. So this is what the Dragon looks like. So as you see, it doesn't pounce as hard as the Razor does. So I'm kind of going with that one, but when you hear the whole mix, you can be like, oh, okay. Now, let's go with the one thing I've been meaning to do. Okay, before I get a little ahead of myself. Right here, this is the BX shed spreader, the shed spread. Now, this thing kind of adjusts however way you want it. So you can be able to begin to one cabinet, you can be able to do a stereo cab, or you can go way far out. You could even, okay, there you go. So you can even solo the pans and stuff like that. So you kind of, or you can make it mono if you want to. You just put this little button right here, and also you want to adjust the shred accordingly. So let's just say you want to go to the low end mono. See, as you see, it kind of gets a little closer. Let's just say you want to go to very mono stereo type of guitar sound, so it moves in a little bit more. Or let's just say you want to go double metal guitar, so you want to go really wide. So this thing also comes for free. You can go on Brainworks, obviously, or or Plugin Alliance, and you can be able to get a lot of plugins from these guys for free. And their plugins are pretty decent when you get to hear them and things like that. Now, the thing that really kind of which I kind of struggled with a little bit, but it still did okay, and that's this right here. This right here is called the CHANNEV by a channel strip by Analog Obsession. As you can see right here, you got your mic pre. Okay, you got your de-esser, which is typically you would find for vocal work. Then you got your equalizer. Now, as you look right here, right where the dBs are at, as you see, I got them turned up pretty hard, which you normally don't do. Because usually at halfway, you can get a good, decent tone. But, or at least with the mids, I was able to kind of get somewhat of a good, I was able to kind of hear a little bit of a difference. But when you got, but if you have to really put your dBs up on your shelving EQs, like your lows and your highs, you got a bit of a problem. But as you probably heard, it did pretty well. Now also you got your compression right here. You got your compressor, which is good because that's usually what it comes with. But you also got your limiter. Now, limiter usually, as far as what I understand about it, you usually use it during mastering, okay? Because that's where you kind of need to get the levels perfect and little to create that saturation to make that sound really punch. So as you're gonna see right here, I'm just using I'm just using this right here. Like I mean, like for me, I had to do whatever I can to try to make the kick stand out a little bit more, and it was just really tough for me to do that with this one. So let me kind of go ahead and just make sure that bases out. Okay. So we're gonna kind of stick with this one, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. So when I push it, so in order to make it really, to keep it nice and fat, I had to kind of keep the mids right where they were at, because there really wasn't much I couldn't do with it. And now, you know, same thing with the snare. So as you can see right here, in order to bring the mids out, I have to go all the way up with it. And I had to kind of put the lows in here all heavily. This I really had to back off a little bit. Same thing here, as you see, the compressors are working just fine. Now, when it comes to the mic pre's, you really don't need them. Like I said, this is more like for vocals, but you can also use this for the rest of your mixes as well. Okay. Now let's kind of go to something else. Now see, right here's where I had a little bit of a problem. Because as you can see, I really couldn't do much. Try to get that under control. Now, also, but like I said, it did what it needed to do. I mean, if you're looking for a cheap, I shouldn't say it like that, or you're looking for a free plugin, this is probably the closest thing you can get. Let's kind of go with the vocals, because especially I want to kind of show you how to work with it when you put it in vocal mode. So as you see right here, now I got it set up for the vocals now. I got the mic pre's, I got these adjusted here a little bit. There's really no de-esser, so I really don't have no plosives coming out of my vocals on this. But as you can see right here, I really didn't have to monkey with it much. So I kind of use this as a bus compressor, to kind of shape the sound a little bit, to kind of keep everything nice and steady where it's at. So let's make sure we get everything off here. Okay, so let's hear how it sounds.
That all the world should be taxed, and all went to be taxed, everyone in his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, out of Nazareth, into the Judea, into the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child. And it was so that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. She brought forth her firstborn son.
Actually, let's start from right here so you kind of get a good idea how it sounds like.
Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold!
So you kind of get
A
all
virgin
the
shall conceive
dynamics of what I'm using
and bear a
in
son,
these vocals.
and his name shall be called Emmanuel. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And all went to be taxed, everyone in his own city. And Joseph also went out from Galilee, out of Nazareth, into the Judea, into the city of David, which is called.
So also, as you can see right here, even with the drums as well. As with the drums, you're going to see that I also use it as a channel strip as well. Like the channel strip is another thing here. So when I go with the channel strip, see, same thing right here. Now let's hear how it sounds with the channel strip. To the drum.
Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign.
Oops. So as you hear, it kind of has some bit of a crushed drum sound to it. But a lot of it is because of the hi-hats. But you see the compressor's not pushing hard. Here I keep it at 3 to 1, so that way you still be able to keep the volume up, because on the individual drum tracks, I got these hitting hard. I got the compressor hitting hard, so that way it kind of gives it the punch that it needs, but at the same time being able to keep some of the drum sounds under control. So now let's go ahead and let's hear all of this, the way it would sound when you put all of them together. As you see right here, I also got the channel strips on these right here as well.
Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. A virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and his name shall be called Emmanuel. And it came to pass in those days
begin to hear,
that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that
all the songs still sound pretty good. You're still touching the mix. Now,
in his own city. And
there's still some adjustments that can be done. Usually when it comes to the guitars or the basses, I normally do not put no busting, like no compressors or maybe with the bass, I use a compressor on it to kind of convert the noise.
And in the same country, shepherds abiding in the field.
And also, this song is on the showcase. All you gotta do is just click on right here, and it'll take you straight to that song, so you can kind of hear the song in its entirety without the chat.
The angel said unto them, Fear not, behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be unto all the people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. It shall be a sign unto you that you shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And
so you can hear again that you still with free plugins you can be able to pull this off. Now, one thing about Glenn Fricker, he also has a course on that. You can go to spectredigital.com, and he can in there, even with free plugins that come in, even with Reaper themselves, because Reaper has its own free plugins, his own free stock plugins, which are pretty decent, and I have no problem with it. Matter of fact, you can even go to Kenny Joya's channel, Reaper Mania, I think it is. You can go to Kenny Joya's channel. He's using just only the Reaper plugins, but I know some people may be fantasizing about the graphic graphic user interface. Come on, spit it out, Joe. But as you see right here, this one right here is from Toucan. Sound like creator, but Toucan Studios has been created by the creator of whose name is John Matthews, because he says Toucan or Toucan. So and with the Toucan Studios, you can see right here, these plugins are not in Reaper, but John does use Reaper, and he's designed these for Reaper, so that way people can have something, so people can be able to mess with little, in a sense, with knobs and things like that. So as you get to notice here, you can see all that. You can use stock plugins, but now let me explain one thing when it comes to using Reaper. Now Reaper runs off of JavaScript, and so do these plugins from Toucan, or even the plugins that are in that are in Reaper. They all run off of JavaScript, and you can see the one thing about JavaScript in this respect, it doesn't bog down the computer. Now a lot of these other plugins, they come with DLL files, so they're gonna put a load on your computer. That's why I use Reaper, not because I'm a metalhead. Sorry, David Gnazi. As much as you want to kind of lump me in with those guys, because I have done hip hop, which I'll be busting out pretty soon. I like the Reaper because of that kind of flow. It allows me to be able to be able to work flawlessly and not worry about the computer going crazy on me, or acting or getting weird. That's why I like using the Reaper plugins and using Toucan plugins. Sure, I use like when it comes to drums, you can't get around that. You have to have a DLL file, which comes in the form of VST and stuff like that. So VSTs are still part of this, but one thing the VSTs won't do, it will not dogpile on the computers that normally would if you had like other programs that also used on that. So that's just something I'm saying. But now, as you can see, that's some of the plugins I'm using on this one here. Obviously, I use these ones just for this demonstration alone. Like I said, if you look at some of my breakdown videos, or even some of the videos I do, you're gonna see that I don't use these types. I strictly use Toucan, or I use other types of VSTs, or sometimes when it comes to guitar, I'll reamp my stuff, just to save some trouble. Anyways, but that's just me there. But if you guys like this video, do me a favor, like this video, share it to all your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. So until next time, peace out.